Welcome to my live video. We're gonna chat a little bit. I don't know if many of you know this, but I have a daughter, and when she was little, I was just obsessed with hair bows, and so I taught myself how to make them, but I haven't done it in several years because I made like 30 bows, and she's got them on like this thing in her room. She doesn't wear them as much anymore, but I was like, hey, let's do a video. So welcome. I've cut up some ribbon. I have ribbon everywhere. I just have like stacks of ribbon. I cut up some ribbon already because I have some ideas on what I want to show you guys. I think I'm going to start with this, which is my like Minnie Mouse kind of thing that I'm going with. And I've also got, I do something very similar in almost all of my wreath videos. I'm going to fold these two pieces over and try and make it to where it's in the center, and they're close to the same size. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to start with this one. That's going to come all apart, but oh well. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to take my thread, and I'm going to very carefully try not to stitch myself. I'm going to pull through, and I'm just going to do very big spots like this, because all I'm trying to do is pull this so it bunches, and then through the top piece. And then what I'm going to do is pull this a little bit tighter. Now make sure you don't pull your string through all the way so that it comes undone. I'm going to fix this again, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to attach the two pieces. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm making sure I'm getting through all 3 layers of the ribbon. And I'm going to pull it like that, and then stitch up to the top. Watch your fingers. I stabbed myself in the finger just a minute ago with this needle. I wasn't even doing anything. So now we have our 2 strings right here, and I'm going to help it a little bit by bunching it with my fingers. Be very careful of how I'm holding my needle in my hand, and I'm going to pull this tight the best that I can. Oh, it doesn't want to pull tight. Okay, well, I'll just go right back through my ribbons, and I use the table whenever I'm pushing the needle through quite a few pieces, because then it doesn't hurt your hand as much. All right. So it's a little bit tricky when you're first doing it, but now we have our 2 pieces like this, and I'm going to cut the needle off. So the needle's just kind of hanging, and I'm going to cut it so that it drops, and I'm going to stick it back in the top of my thread so that I don't lose it. And then what I'm going to do is take the end pieces of thread, and I'm going to tie them together just so that it's secure. Flop it over, flop it through, and pull. And we're going to have to adjust it a little bit here and there as we're going along. But this is what we've got so far on our little piece. And I'm going to take my glue gun, which I have here ready, and I am just going to glue right along where it's touching so that it stays. And I'm going to try and pull that off, and we are going to, I'm going to put the string in it so it stays tight. And then once I'm sure that it's not going to burn me, I will actually take my finger and I will push it down like this so that it makes more of a sealed line. And that didn't hurt at all because it's not hot anymore. And I'm going to trim some of these extra strings. And these strings. All right. And now I have to decide which piece I want to use, because we're going to wrap around that and attach it to this. So first things first is I've got these little 2-inch berets that I bought at the store. and they have a springy piece here in the middle, and I like to just pop that piece out because it's in my way. And I set that piece aside. I think I'm going to use the white. So I'm going to cut a very small piece of the white. And then pin this back in. I don't want to lose my pins, and I don't want thread going everywhere and unraveling. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to fold it in a third and then over again, because I want it to be a very thin piece that I use to attach. So I'm going to hold this in the middle. I'm going to put a dot of glue on the back of my bow here. And then I'm going to attach this piece onto the glue. And again, once it gets dry enough that I know it's not going to burn my finger, I like to push it down on top of the metal piece so that it stays better. And then I'm going to come to the front of the bow. I've got glue going everywhere. We're going to grab it like this and come back around to the back. Now I have way too much ribbon, but I needed enough to be able to grab a hold of it. So I'm going to cut off the excess with my skizzes. And then I'm going to try and show you guys on this camera. We're going to attach here another little dauble of glue, wipe it off. We're going to attach on this side. On my finger. But it's a low temp gun, so it doesn't get very hot. Hold that until it stringies. And then I'm going to do another tiny dot of glue right here. And fold it. And hold it while it dries. And you can do any combination of colors. Like I have a bajillion ribbons. And this is just a cute little, in your hair, cute little thing. All right, and then at the very end, we are coming to the end, I like to take a little bit of the glue and put it just over the edge of the white ribbon to hold it in place. And so that I don't get a bunch of stringies. Okay, we're going to put the glue gun aside. Now, if you guys aren't used to using hot glue guns, you may not want to do the part where you use your finger. And I have before, let's see if I have a stick in my drawer. I do. I have before taken a stick instead and used that to mush it down instead of using my finger. Sometimes, however, when I do that, you get little pieces that stick out. All right, last thing we do is put our little bendy piece back in and clasp, and we have a super adorable, super simple little bow. That was one of the techniques that I wanted to show you guys. Oh my gosh, I think those are just so cute. Next, I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I'm stealing things. I'm going to do this one. And for this one, I want to attach one piece facing down and one piece facing up so that the lace is going in opposite directions from itself. So we're going to do basically the exact same technique as we just did. I'll do it like this. We're going to fold and then stitch together. Actually, I just did the exact same thing. Let me do a different one. Because that's basically the exact same thing that I just did. Let's do this school colors one. So we have our white piece and our purple piece. And what I'm going to do is I want this to have tails. This is going to be, I'm going to have a bow piece and then a hang down piece. So I'm going to take my two end pieces and I'm going to cut them at an angle. And then to make sure that our tail pieces don't unravel, I use a little lighter and I just quickly because it does have synthetic fibers, and so they will, well, this one does. So it will melt somewhat, and then always be very, very careful when you're doing this because, you know, fire. All right. So now this isn't going to come, it's not going to unravel. Okay, we're going to fold this piece over. First I have to decide. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Fold this piece over, and then we're going to stitch just like we did on the other one. So let me get that together first, actually. String glue everywhere. Do I have any comments?
Let me look.
Comments.
Your mom said hi.
My mom said hi.
Mimi Wright says hi.
Hi! Okay, again, about 12 inches. And then we're going to pinch the thread through the needle, just like we did last time. Okay, and I'm going to start on this bottom ribbon because we want it to be attached but separate. So I'm just doing a couple little pieces through. And then I'm going to attach it to the purple piece. And I just kind of eyeballed where I thought the middle was. It is or it isn't there. But most of the time, it doesn't matter if it's 100% perfect because, you know, nothing really ever is, but it's a hairball. So, all right, and once again, make sure we don't pull our ribbon through, which our string through, which I almost did on accident. And we are going to help it along by kind of pinching it. Pinching. Kind of try and pull our string. And then I'm going to go back through all the little pinched pieces. And I'm going to use the table like I did before to push it through so I don't hurt my finger. And then pull it. And then we're going to cut the needle off. Oh, it's trying to come undone. No. Okay. Pull my stringy pieces. I've got all 4 on the same end because I went through and then I came back through. So all 4 of my loose pieces are on the same end. And I was going to try and tie them, but instead I think I will glue. So we are going to put a little bit of glue right here to grab our little pieces. I try not to make stringies, but it's hot glue. So welcome to the world of hot glue if you've never used hot glue before. And push it. And I'm going to cut off these little end pieces. I should have went ahead and cut another white piece because I think that's what I'm going to use to wrap this one, just like I did the other one. And so this is what we have so far. And we'll have to adjust a little bit, but I'm going to cut myself. I have literally got hot glue stringies everywhere. Cut myself another tiny little piece of this. See if I can do it with a smaller piece this time so I'm not wasting as much. Not that you really use a whole bunch when you're doing these. It takes almost nothing. I got all these, I think at Walmart, these ribbons, and they always have so many options. Wrap that around. I'm actually going to glue this piece real quick. Just a tiny little dabble of glue in between those 2 layers to hold them. Give it a second to dry. The hot glue literally dry. I'm seriously just pulling strings from everywhere. All right, once again, we're going to take our clippy piece apart. And you can get these in a smaller size or a bigger size if you're wanting to do like the big like cheerleading bows. You can get these in like 3-inch. I'm not sure if they have bigger than 3-inch, but I'm sure you can find them because it's the thing. All right, hot glue on the back. Make sure that piece is staying. And then we're gonna stick this. And I'm gonna use my stick again for those of you that don't. And I literally just pulled the glue across the metal just to like hold it in place a little bit better. And now I'm gonna take my white piece and wrap it around the front. Oh, the glue's sticking to my thumb. That is still pretty wet. Look at my thumb. All right, grab the bottom, pull it tight so that it's stuck to it, and then glue again as soon as I get my thumb out of the way. Hold this in place, and I've got quite a bit of extra, as you can see right here, so I'm going to cut that off in just a second once I am certain that this is in the right place. Try not to cut any of the other ribbon. And just like I did on the one before, I'm going to take glue right on the very edge of the second piece that I folded, just to ensure that I don't have a bunch of stringy pieces sticking out from the ribbon. And I'm going to use my stick again, just because that's honestly the safest method to do. I just get complacent. All right, where's my piece? Aha. Stick this piece in here. Ah, if I can. And then bend it into place. Oh, it bent. Crooked. Bend that back in. Aha. Close it up. Pull my little stringies off. And then you have a cute little, and these are really great for ponytails. That's what I used to do with Lily, is I would have her hair in a little ponytail, and then you just stick the ribbon like this, and you have a cute little ponytail bow. And this is great. You can do any school colors. I did one for a friend of mine, and her school colors were maroon and white. So you can do the same thing like this. You could do maroon and white like this to have a little school bow. And then I think I'm not going to do this one since it's the same technique as the pink and white one. But I do want to show you guys a technique that I do with this. Let me get all my little clippies out of here. All right. So with this one, I try to make it look like a flag. So I'm going to have a top, a top piece and a bottom piece. Fold it in half. And then pinch together just like I did with this one. However, we're going to be doing two different pieces here because we're making a flag. So we're going to do it like this and then like this. And let me just make sure that So then we're going to have our stars, I mean it's circles, but stars and stripes. So it makes a little flag. All right. And thread again. Thread again. And I'm literally using like almost nothing of any of this stuff. Is this what I want?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Michelle says hi.
Hi, Michelle. This is what I do when I'm sitting home. I had no intention of doing this morning. And then all of a sudden, bam. Ooh, let's do a live video. And pull my string through. Try and make sure they're even because last time I didn't have it very even. Twist it up. And then we're going to start with our bottom ribbon. Make sure we're in the middle. And I forget to mention little things like make sure you're in the middle because my brain just goes, oh yeah. And now this one is a little trickier because we are getting two pieces to stick together to look like one piece. And it's too big. So we're going to pull the pieces in a little bit tighter. That works. All right. And now we're going to stitch through on this one. And it's harder to stitch through because it's not just 2 pieces and a back, it's 4 pieces. Pull our little through, and now we're going to pinch it up, always being watchful of where your needle is so that you don't stab yourself in the finger like someone I know. It's me. I do that all the time. Ah, come on. It is more difficult when you're using a lot of different pieces, like on the top where I'm doing 4 pieces instead of just the 1 piece folded over. Stitch back through and use the table. Oop, I missed one of them. We gotta make sure we get through the top piece. All right, use the table to push it through. Pull it tight from that way, pull it tight from this way, and we'll fix it in just a second. I'm gonna cut this off. Stick it back in here. And now this one I am gonna tie it off. And it looks a mess, but we'll straighten it out. We'll straighten it out in just a minute. And I'm going to use a piece of white, just like I've done with all the other ones, to go across the middle. And we really need that on this one to cover up. Let me trim this and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. To cover up this part where the blue is like separated. All right, so we're straightening these up. And now I'm gonna hot glue the back. Look, love it. We're going to hot glue on the back all across here to hold all of our little pieces together. And I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but I hope it's enough that you can tell what I'm saying. And we're gonna blow on it. See how I'm holding my fingers very carefully on the sides so that I don't get glue, hot glue on my fingers. Because when it first comes out, it is very hot. It dries super fast. But when it first comes out, it is super, super hot. And you do not want to get it on your fingers. So you want to be very aware of where you are placing your fingers. And I'm just using my stick again to flatten this out. And it's pretty much dry. I'm going to sit this down. Well, it's not dry enough yet. Just kidding. I'm going to wait a second. Actually, I can go ahead, see if I can't pop one of these little pieces out. And I can go ahead and stick this on here since it's already... Did I go backwards? No. Okay. I was like, wait, it's backwards, my flag. All right. Since it's still pretty wet. And I'm just going to dab across the middle, just like I did last time, because we're trying to hold this in place. Okay, and now I should be able to set this down. Where's my white? There it is. And again. Oh, I'll show you guys another technique that I sometimes do with my ribbon. You kind of have to use a little bit more because of the way you use it, but I think it's cute. So I will take a piece of ribbon and I will actually knot it. I'll fold it into, tie it into a knot, which is a little bit more difficult to do with these thick ribbons, but as long as you can get a hold of the pieces, like this. So we have a knot, which I think is just so cute. Okay, so we're going to put our knot in the front. Oh no, I wanted to do the knot, but the blue is showing. Okay, well, you can do a knot, and that would have been super adorable had I not made the blue too far over. So instead of doing that, we're just going to wrap it around. But you could have done the knot on any of the other ones, and it works the same way if it would have covered it. You just glue this piece down, and then fold it over and glue the other piece down and pull it tight, just like you would do with the other one. However, my blue is sticking out too much because I made the pieces uneven and I had to adjust, and that's fine, that happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this across the top, and then I'm going to glue it onto the back. And it looks a little bit messy still, and it's a little bit too wide actually, but we're going to make it work because I need to cover up the blue. So I'm going to use my finger and pinch this down into place. Kind of push this out of the way, and then I'm going to pull, oop, I got glue on my finger. Pull this tight, cut off the excess again because we have way too much. And then glue again, right in the middle, and then push it close with my finger. And I'm going to use my stick because I have a piece here that's sticking out on either side. Oh, I got glue on the front. All right, I'm going to use my gun again to push down the edges on both sides. And you got to be kind of careful when you're doing it with a ribbon that's really wide that you don't completely block where your bendy piece is going to go back in. I'm going to use my stick again, flatten the glue out. Oh, it's a little too wet. Actually, it's fine. I'm not going to use the stick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to push it back in here, and then while holding it in place down there, this is the tricky part where it has the clasp, because if you get too much ribbon in the way, you might not be able to push it back into place. But I got it. It's fine. It totally worked. All right. So now we have this one that's finished. And I wish that I had been able to do the little knot, because I think that would have been adorable. But now we have a super cute 4th of July bow. And you can do just blue on the top and red on the bottom. But I thought making it look more like a flag, just kind of cute. Just an extra little touch. So we have our flag bow, our Minnie Mouse bow, and our school spirit bow. And that didn't take very long. Super fun. You can do a million different combinations, a million different colors. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you like my video, share with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel if that's where you are. And if not, you can find me on YouTube at Happy Crafting Lady. And I have a website, happycraftinglady.com. And we have a newsletter that my amazing, wonderful husband set up. And I believe that if you sign up for the newsletter, you get a coupon to use in my shop where I have all kinds of stuff, keychains and cups and coasters and more stuff coming all the time. So check it out. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.